Hi, it's Sarah, and I want to talk to you today about something that is very close to my heart, and that's gamification. And a lot of people have been asking me about this recently, and I was going to write like a huge blog post on it, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it on a video because it's quicker and easier, and also you can follow me along. So what I'm doing at the moment is reading this awesome book called Super Better. And as you can see, it's quite thick and I'm only halfway through. But I'm using this to create a new coaching program, or as the inspiration, I guess, to create a new coaching program that's by Jane McGonigal, for young people who really have not very much confidence, are feeling anxious and depressed, because there's some amazing stuff in here. So what I thought I would do is take you on that journey with me, firstly. So you'll get to see me weekly do that. You'll get to learn what I'm learning and get to see how I think that applies to working with young people, which is very, very cool. So firstly, some of you might be thinking what gamification is. And gamification is taking the principles of gaming and using them in real life. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean gaming online. It just means gaming per se. But obviously gaming online has got the attention of our young people, so that's mainly where I'm going to be focusing on. Jane McGonigal is somebody that I always turn to when I want to learn anything about gaming, and I've been following her for, I want to say it's probably about 6 years now. She produced a TED Talk on why gaming is so awesome. She produced a book called Reality is Broken, and now she's got a book called Super Better. And I just love how she looks at gaming and takes the principles of that and applies it to real life. And that's what gamification is. So let me tell you a little bit about why I adore games. People often ask me, do I play games? No, I don't. I did when they first came out. I remember playing Tomb Raider and Lara Croft. But I just don't, because A, I don't have the time, and B, I'm slightly got an addictive personality, so when I start doing something I find it difficult to stop, and hence I haven't got the time to do that. Maybe I will start again, but I can see the benefits, and I love having fun, and I love treating life as a game. So let me tell you a few things about gaming that you may not know, and a few things that I learned by doing a lot of the research, because obviously people are telling us how bad gaming is. I go off and look for the opposite research. And if I look off to one side, just know I'm looking at my notes, because I wanted to make some notes to just make sure I've got everything in here. So firstly, gaming has been known, and this is some research that's been done, to increase visual speed, visual dexterity, gosh, that's a hard word to say, and also in some recent research, people have found that gamers do make quicker decisions. So they tend to be quicker decision makers, probably because they've learned through playing games to make quick decisions. Also, gaming has been used for quite a while now in some big companies, particularly around training very high and middle management. I think IBM was one of them that really started to link this in. And there's a few reasons for this, because there's two things that you can learn in gaming that are pretty difficult to learn anywhere else in life. They've both got bizarre names. One of them is called probing and one of them is called telescoping. Let me just explain what they are. So probing, now what games do is they generally put you in an environment and tell you no real rules, tell you not really how anything works, and you have to probe around to see how it all operates. And it's a skill that is absolutely required in business and industry, but it's a skill that's very difficult to actually teach anyone. So gaming does that. You have to probe around to see what works and see what doesn't work. The telescoping, what that means, and again, this is a skill that is difficult to learn, is in gaming you always know what the end result is. To save the dragon or whatever. There's probably no games about saving the dragon, but anyway, early on you know what the quest is, so you know what the end result is, or the epic win as gamers call it. But what you have to do in each particular level, or in each particular sort of battle or whatever you go through, is you have to be focused on what is the thing I have to do now. And so it's a very interesting phenomenon, because you have to hold the very big picture in your mind and also the very small picture of what you're doing now, and they call it telescoping. So these are two things that gaming, is known to and is researched to teach people. So, amazing skills. In Jane McGonigal's first speech, she talked about 4 things that gaming also teaches people, and I think that this is really helpful. She says that it teaches them to have epic meaning. So, in a game, you have this epic win, and that's like, something that everybody's reaching for, and actually something most young people don't have anywhere else in their life, this epic win. She says it also teaches them to have this urgent optimism. So they keep going, and it feels urgent, and however difficult it is, they keep going. She also talks about how they're blissfully productive when they're playing games. So we might have a child that is totally disengaged in school, got ADHD, can't focus, but they're gaming and they are blissfully productive for very long periods of time. So is it the child that's incorrect, or is it the way that we're teaching them? Great question. And the other thing that she talks about, which I think no one mentions when it comes to gaming, is how gamers often build this social fabric. So if you look at something like World of Warcraft, for example, where gamers play together on quests, you have to form this social fabric around you. You have to make friends with people. You have to join alliances to get through certain stages of the game. So she talks about epic win, urgent optimism, blissfully productive, and social fabric. And I think, aren't they things that we would all want all of our young people to be? Sound pretty cool to me. And in Reality is Broken, she talks a lot about how, a lot of people are failing in life, or it looks like they're failing, because real life is not offering the same thing as games. And she particularly talks about 4 different pieces. She talks about the goal. So actually in a game, you always know what the outcome is, what you're working towards. And can the same be said about school? And I'm constantly going to link this into school because that relates to young people. Not really. I mean, they turn up at school, they're told, do this and you get a great job. That might not be their goal. That might not be their epic win. So when they go into a game, the goal is very, very clear. And she says that also they have some rules or limitations around them that never change. They're always clear, but they're not very strict, and often they might not know what these limitations are until they test them. But the limitations that are placed in a game always encourage the gamer to think creatively and strategically. And if we look at rules that are placed at school, they're not like that at all. So it's a rule about a uniform. That's a rule. It doesn't teach anyone to be creative or strategic. I mean, you could say that possibly it does, but but she talks about the fact that the rules are generally around them winning, not winning, sorry, getting their outcome. So, there's a clear outcome, and then there's limitations that they have to perform within to reach that outcome. She then talks about the fact that all games have feedback systems. So you do something and you know instantly whether it works or not. It's very real time. And you know very quickly whether what you've done works. This is not happening in our systems that we have around young people nowadays. The feedback systems are very long. They often, don't know till they get to the final exam whether what they're doing is working or not. And then she talks about the fact that in games there's a voluntary participation, and that all participants enter into that game knowing the goals, knowing the rules or the limitations, and knowing the feedback systems. So she argues in Reality is Broken, what would happen if we moved our schools from how they work at the moment to a place where everyone knew their own outcome, everyone knew what the limitations were, they were going to get real life feedback and they knew how that was going to work, and they volunteered to take part in that. And she says that this is what is in a game that isn't anywhere, isn't in most other places in life. So when we look at gamification, and gamification has been applied to a lot of things. By the way, gamification isn't just playing a game. It's much more complicated than that. Gamification is creating something where the person knows the goal and it's clear, where they know what the limitations or the rules are, where they get instant feedback and they voluntarily participate in it. So if you're thinking of applying gamification to parents, that would how it, to parenting, sorry, that is how it would work. If you're thinking of applying it to young people, that is how it will work. So in these books and in her talk, she took a very high level sort of look at gaming, and it absolutely intrigued me. In this book, in Super Better, which she wrote actually after she had a dreadful brain injury and she had to come back from it, she really does pin it down into how you do it. How do you get gamification into your everyday life? So that's a little overview of what gamification is, a little overview of what Jane McGonigal believes and what I believe about gaming. And this is going to be a journey. Each week, hopefully, what I'm going to try and do is take a chapter, I can never say that word right, of the book, really pull it apart and say how I think it can be used with young people. It's going to help you, and it's also going to help me, and it's going to be great. So you don't have to watch if you're not interested in this at all, but hopefully you'll be as obsessed with it as I am. So I look forward to the next one where we start on this amazing book. And you should get yourself a copy of this book if you really are interested in this, because it is awesome. What she called it, a revolutionary approach to getting stronger, happier, braver and more resilient. And I tell you, that's, I think, what our young people need. Bye. Look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.